Hey Sergio, how you doing?
Doing good, brother. How are you today?
Doing really well. Thank you for having this interview with us. I just met you. You seem like a really cool dude, but like there's so much. I've been scratching the surface, and I'm not even anywhere close to understanding who you are and what you do. So I'm really interested in finding more out about you. Let's just start. Tell us, Sergio, who are you?
Who am I? Well, back to what you first mentioned, I'm still learning who the heck I am and why the heck I'm here. I'm just a small town boy from Albuquerque, New Mexico. Moved out to California back in 2007, and just been artistically searching for just to get better. And honestly, not artistically, but just in life. I mean, I'm a person who loves to learn. I love to give, and I'm just striving for betterment every single day in the art world, but just in my personal life and all aspects of life.
All right, so you're on a journey, a lifelong journey. Sounds
We
like
all are, yeah.
we all are, and you're definitely doing it in a very creative way. You are an artist, is that right?
I would consider myself an artist,
But you're
yes.
not just an artist; you're a performing artist.
Right, performing artist. I'd be picking up a guitar at 15 and starting to play shows at 16, 17 years old. And then, of course, once I picked up a paintbrush, started doing my live painting thing back starting 2017. Yeah, now I just perform both on stage, sometimes both in the same show.
Yeah, and that's the thing that really intrigues me. You both paint and play music and perform in this one kind of epic performance. And so you've been able to combine two things that you really love,
Right.
art and music, in the same thing. And there's a lot of artists that play music and paint, but you've figured out how to bring both of those things into the same kind of experience.
Right.
So I just want to know a little bit about how that came to be. How did you? I mean, obviously it was a creative idea, and you're an artist, so those probably come frequently. But maybe more specifically, you can kind of tell us how did you come to be Sergio Gutierrez, the performing rock star artist? You know?
Yeah, yeah. No, it's a very good question. And I've told this story a few times. So I picked up the guitar at 15 years old, started playing shows, moved to Hollywood when I was 20, and then moved to Oceanside, California shortly after. I didn't like the LA scene. I found that LA was a really tough spot, a culture shock, if you will, moving from New Mexico to Hollywood. So a few years goes by, and I'm playing shows by night. I have a day job by day. And when I was 24 years old, I was planning on leaving the current day job I was at, and I just asked myself, like, what can I do that's fun, that's creative, and where I don't have a boss breathing down my neck. So yeah, I picked up a paintbrush at age 24, and just to fast forward how it became this really unique performance that I do, doing live music and live art in one show. I lived in Oceanside near the beach, and I would have parties. And naturally, we'd play some music, we'd be rocking out, having a good time. And at the time, I was brand new to the art world. I was just started painting. I don't think I even sold a painting quite yet.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd have this canvas all over and easels all over the place, paints everywhere. So I naturally would play some music, take a break to crack open another beer or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And people would sit back in the couches and be like, "Oh, what are you working on this painting? Like, what is it going to be?" "Oh, well, let me show you." So I'd pick up a paintbrush and I'd just go at it. And people were like, "Whoa, what the heck?"
Mm.
So it became like a very special night. Each night I had people over and they were witnessing live music, and I didn't know at the time, but live art.
Mm-hmm.
And woke up one morning and just said, "Wow, how can I do both in one show?
Mm-hmm.
Or how can I present this to the public?" And literally, I've told the story. I had an epiphany. Woke up one morning and I said, God, where do I go next? Music is doing well, art is going well, and I just heard do both. And that's when the live painting, live music show began, 2017.
2017.
Yep.
So since then, you've created a reputation. You're playing all over the world. Um, can you tell me how it's evolved where you are now?
Oh my God, it's evolved into something really, really interesting, and it's just getting more interesting.
Hmm.
And I'll tell you how. I first started in these tiny little pubs, and now I'm doing big stages. Recently, I was in Nashville at the Woolworth Theater. Did some live music and did a live painting of Johnny Cash where we auctioned it off, and I got to help society by uh, giving the money to the Kevin Harrington Foundation. So, so it's evolved into something to where I'm still having a great time being creative, um, but I get to help the world by doing these charity events, and
Hmm.
that's honestly my favorite part. Because I've learned it's not all about the money. When your intention is pure and you want to help people with your time, talent, and treasures, the money comes. But to raise funds and to be intentional about doing raising the funds to help people, like that's where it's evolved, and God knows where it's going, man. I mean, just gonna keep plugging away.
Yeah,
It just keeps getting better with each year.
it sounds incredible. I know from our short discussions, charity is a big part of your drive. You even told me like, just put good out in the world, and I really believe it comes back to you. And in your experience, it has. So you're speaking from experience.
Oh, 1,000%.
Yeah.
And not only speaking from experience, but um, I read a lot of like self help books and watch a lot of the YouTube videos. And, you always hear, oh, well, give, give, give. But when you feel like you don't have much to give,
Hmm.
you kind of hold back.
Hmm.
And let's just say that once I just trusted and gave what I had,
Hmm.
it just started pouring in. Just not only the money, but the great experiences, the great
Yeah.
relationships.
Yeah.
Again, it's not all about the money. I'd rather have really great relationships and uh, amazing experiences,
Hmm.
traveling the world, this and that, than having a pile of money. Like, what are you gonna do with it if you don't
Yeah.
have friends to share it with and places to visit?
Yeah. No, I mean, no kidding, right? I mean, those are the things that we remember,
Right.
are the experiences. That's what we hope to, to buy with money. And you're here able to experience these things and make an income, a living for yourself doing it. I mean, I think
Right.
that's cool. So, um, you've lived in San Diego. Yeah, are you involved with San Diego organizations, or do you find yourself traveling most of the time to do your performances?
I find myself traveling quite a bit, especially in 2024 is when it really ramped up.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I closely work with some San Diego organizations, but I'm not like on retainer with any of them or
Hmm.
anything. But
Hmm.
yeah, I do work. I do work with quite a few, especially charities in
Yeah,
the
around
city.
here.
So yeah, and
That's
and a
great.
lot geared towards our veterans and young artists. Just naturally, I want to uh, give the knowledge that I've learned throughout the years being an artist and musician. I want to give that to our youth so that they can feel confident in following their dreams if they choose to become an artist because they
Hmm.
don't teach you that in school.
No, it's really tough. You can go to art school, but good luck making a career out of it.
Right.
If you
It's
don't learn the hard way, you kind of learn as you go along, and
right.
it's a tough thing as an artist, from my experience, to know how to promote yourself, how to find your niche. It's what a lot of artists who find success, they have their niche, and that could take a long time. That's why
Mhm.
I'm so impressed with you, because you found this niche where you bring two things that I also enjoy, but I never thought to do them together, and I wouldn't. I'm not. quite the performer, I think, to be able to do that. And you picked up the paintbrush at 24.
Hmm.
That's not, that's not a young age. That's very much, I think the brain stops growing in men at 24, maybe later. So it was right at the very end of that growth where this creativity kind of sparked. It
Yeah,
seems.
well, dude, I jokingly but seriously say that's how bad I didn't want to find a day job.
Oh, you picked up the paintbrush.
And it's
Easiest the
true.
reverse. People they start with the paintbrush in their hands and they have to ditch it for a day job because they need a roof over their head. You did the opposite.
Right,
You went
right.
against the grain, and that's very artistic.
Yeah, and I believe also another aspect of going against the grain is in the beginning I learned very early in the painting career that just to be authentic, put as much fun, love, and good energy into each painting without thinking, oh, I got to sell this.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of artists, of course, they enjoy uh, the strokes and maybe being alone and listening to music, this and that. But at the end of the day, they go, I hope I can sell this painting.
Mm-hmm.
And that energy
Shows, huh?
transfers and it shows in the painting and in your presentation of that painting.
Mm.
So I think, I often, and we're all human. Sometimes I fall into that, I'll be honest. But I just think of my early years. I didn't, I didn't think about selling. I just wanted to learn something new and be creative.
I'm writing all this down. This is great advice.
Well, you have it on video.
I know, but so a couple more questions, man. 24. Did you? I mean, I just want to go back to this really quick because
Sure.
these are your paintings behind us. I've seen your work. It's really really good. And to learn that you kind of picked it up on a whim. Did you discover this talent that was hiding inside of you? Did you practice a lot to develop it, or were you kind of dabbling in art, prior to when you committed to it?
So, there was let's just say there was a lot of dabbling. As a kid, I remember carrying around it was almost like this little lunch box, it looked like, a little green box. And I just had all my markers and crayons and whatever. But of course, I was all of 7, 8 years old. And
Okay.
so it was something I was interested in. And throughout all my schooling, I was always a kid that when you had to do a presentation and create like a poster of, like, let's just say the Civil War,
Mm-hmm.
I was a kid that would write Civil War in cool letters, right?
Mm-hmm.
And do some little clip art.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, there was a lot of dabbling throughout the years. But when I turned 24 and it was time to get serious and just learn, dude, I spent endless hours at the computer watching YouTube and
Mm.
learning techniques
Mm.
and, learning what to do, what not to do, and trying to break a little, going against the grain on
Mm-hmm.
either way.
Yeah.
And yeah, so yes, once it was time to get serious, I got serious.
Wow. And you committed and you did what you had to do. You
Hmm.
spent the time and the energy and perfecting the way you do it. Now the performance aspect, that's tricky, man. Do you ever find yourself on stage like, oh crap, what am I doing? Or are you just completely in control? Or are you in a whole nother like, frame of mind, where it's just all coming together? How do you describe that? You're doing you're painting this image, everyone has their eyes glued, I'm sure, to the process. You're doing it pretty quickly, or am I
Right. I mean,
mistaken? What would you say that experience is like?
oh,
Like what's
dude,
going on through your head?
it's, you know what? It's very similar to me uh, being on stage with a guitar, rocking out, singing, right? It's creating in the moment
Mm-hmm.
is what it is, right? So I was always pretty used to creating in the moment, being a musician.
Mm-hmm.
So once I needed to translate that to live painting, I'm not going to say it was easy, but I understood what the goal was. And at the end of the day, people want to be entertained
Mm-hmm.
and people want to see something unique and they want to feel something. Um, so basically, what I feel on stage too, it depends on how how much time I have. Sometimes I have 10 minutes to do a painting. Sometimes I have an hour, right? But the paintings that take, let's just say 10 minutes, they're going 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Right. And sometimes a glob of paint, if I'm painting, let's just say Mick Jagger, it's happened to where a glob of black paint just goes smack dab like on his cheek or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And you have to learn how to basically erase that mistake. And I have ways that you would never tell that happened, you know? So yeah, it depends on how long I had to do the painting, but either way, it's just fun to bring something out of people, and it brings the children.
Dude, that's really cool, man. I could just imagine, quick thinking in the moment, a lot of pressure. You're creating something right in front of everybody.
Yeah.
So, I find that really cool.
And so now the painting becomes an experience, not just a painting.
Yeah. Yeah. Right on, Sergio. Well, I think that's all the questions I have for now. I'd love to get you back in again real quick to plug a possible event you'll be doing here in Seaport Village, possibly.
Yeah, we're in the works. We'll talk about it.
Okay.
But I commend you for creating this space for the community and just doing what you do. And I could just tell you guys are on fire about it and figuring things out day by day. And it's this stuff ain't easy. So again, I commend you guys for this space, and it's a beautiful space.
Thank you, man. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it, buddy.
You
awesome.
too.